Hello everyone and welcome. Today we are going to take a look at using query results in calculations and the calculation order considerations. We can split queries into two groups in terms of how they are evaluated in calculations: static queries and dynamic queries. The main difference between the two is how they affect the order of calculations in runtime. Static queries are those that don't depend on input fields from your web application. This means that the results of the query will not be affected by any changes in the user inputs. If your application contains only static queries, the system will execute the queries first, populate the query results into the name ranges they are bound to, and then trigger the workbook formula calculations. Queries that depend on the application inputs are considered dynamic queries. If there are any number of dynamic queries in your web application, the system will first trigger the workbook formula calculations to get the input results. Next, the queries will run and the results will be populated for the bound name ranges. Finally, the calculations will run one more time. This means that the workbook calculations will effectively be executed twice within one cycle. In this example, we have a query that uses the name range salesperson in one of the conditions. This is a dynamic query and the system will run the calculations accordingly. As a final note, while the system may allow you to create queries that depend on each other, doing so will not yield the correct results. For example, if you use the bound name range sales by state in another query, the results of these queries might differ every time you run them, and this is not a recommended approach.